Just for the food.
Just for the food.
We've already started?
That's
Should
just
I?
For the food.
Should I?
We started it just for the food.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Can you hear?
Yes.
No, I'm probably going to keep this in because I want this to play in the beginning of the video.
Okay.
Right?
Hello.
Hi! What up, people of the internet? Can I say that again? I'm going to start over.
Okay. Hello.
I'll just cut it.
Okay.
Okay. What up, people of the internet? My name is Plug to the Plug, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I am joined by a very special guest in *LaCroixboi.
Hello.
Hello. He doesn't talk like that in real life, thank God.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, when the moment calls for it. You guys might remember him from the God of War Ragnarok video, which if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. He helped me out with that one a lot. Link in the description, and also it should be on the screen somewhere. And if it's not, I was too lazy to put it there. But today we're not talking about God of War Ragnarok. Today,
we're getting down to brass tacks.
We're getting down to brass tacks today. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Thwipper, the Quipper, the one, the only. But wait, there's two of them now.
There's actually a lot of them.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about spider people.
We're talking about spider people, man.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Things to do.
Really, man. We just, I'm not sure when this is going to go out or when I'm going to put it out, but there should be a similar video where we just got done talking about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse.
Sure.
Between the two of us. It's like over an hour long, and if you guys want to listen to that, definitely go check it out. By the time it's out, you should send me the link.
Oh, yeah. And
it will be in the description whatever time you see this video. So if it's not now, come back later and it'll be here. If not, it should already be there. Either way, definitely go check it out because it's a very interesting conversation. I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, this video... sorry about that. This... man, I don't know if I should leave that in or not. Ding! This video is about Spider-Man also, but mostly about the game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a good game. Now, I know I'm going to start off with this, and we talked about this a little bit. You only played Miles Morales.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just like, I got what I needed.
You got what you needed.
Yeah.
It was a fun game.
It was a really good game. Mechanics are good. The world's good. I mean, it's also, there's like this weird thing where like going to any game in New York is really fun because like we were talking about Central Park, I'm like thinking about like, bro, I've been there. Like that's such a weird feeling.
So to see it in a game and it's like kind of how accurate it is.
Yeah,
it's
usually pretty accurate. Like there's clearly like a weird scaling thing that happens whenever they like.
Yeah, because they have to condense it. That's what I find funny about like, you know, like the Grand Theft Auto series. It's like Liberty City is just New York, and they just have to kind of condense it into like, you know. Yeah. And same thing with like Red Dead Redemption. You travel over states, but it would take way longer to get to those states than what it would actually take you in game. But that's a whole other conversation. So it is really cool how they did that in there. And I know for you, this was an enjoyable experience.
It was very enjoyable. I mean, it's like one of those things. Miles Morales has always been one of my favorite characters. So then you give me the opportunity to actually play as him, and I'm like there. And then on top of that, they like add a whole bunch of different mechanics that have not been in previous Spider-Man games or have been replicated but not as well. Pretty good.
Yeah. And so you also played it on PC.
Right, yeah, and you kind of just got a little taste of it the first time, yeah. I
did. You guys won't see that footage here. You guys won't see that footage here,
I'll
but
send you some if you want.
Thank you. I would like to use that in the background. Look, I'm not like I played it on the PlayStation 4. You guys have probably seen some clips on my channel of the Miles Morales when it came out. I was playing it. I beat it all the way through, platinum it 100%. I played it on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And the game looked good, but it was built for the PlayStation 5. It was one of those launching titles. Came for PC way after, and I gotta say, for those of you who played it on PS5 and even PC now, it looks phenomenal. Like I thought it was just going to be like a sort of like a lighting thing, like like fidelity, whatever, like all that graphical BS, but like it is a night and day. Like the moment he loaded the game up, first of all, it loaded up in 3 seconds.
Like, what's that about? He was like, why is this so bad?
First of all, it loaded up in 3 seconds, you know, not to say that PS4 times are slow, but it's definitely not 3 seconds, you know, like it literally is insane. And I got to play it a bit on mouse and keyboard, which was very interesting. I picked it up fairly quickly. Yeah. I definitely can't do everything, but I definitely was. I was definitely swinging around like I knew what I was doing, and it was really, really fun. So thank you for that.
Of course.
And yeah, so it's our PC now. But it is very fun. Of course, if you guys haven't played Miles Morales, definitely go check it out. Buy it like right now, like he did, and have a great time doing it. But the first Spider-Man you did not play.
No.
I don't think you're going to play it. At least not in the near future.
No.
I do think at some point in time, maybe like when you're really, really old.
If they did like a bundle, if they did like a Steam bundle that let me buy the next game and then the first game, and then like on Steam, whenever you already own a title, it usually like discounts a little bit if there's like a group or bundle price or whatever. So if there was something like that for like $50 to $80 for 2 games, I'd probably do that. But otherwise, like we're talking like a year and a half, 2 years down the road.
From now, yeah. Yeah, so like I said, but you played Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And Miles was present in the first game. The first game was, of course, great. I'm going to say a few story beats here. Nothing too spoiler for you in case you do change your mind in the near future. It's cool. But I will touch on some things. The first one was great. It sold something crazy like 3 million copies in like its first 3 days, which is insane. Statistics, semantics, numbers are crazy. The game is phenomenal. It is well done. Like you said, the mechanic, it's pretty much Miles Morales, mechanically, and then graphically it also just got sent to PC, so that was great. It dealt with Spider-Man. Now over 33 million copies sold. That's insane. It's literally, I think this game sits in the top 5 of most sold PlayStation, like PS4 games ever. I think so. Next to like behind 3 Call of Duties.
Yeah.
It goes like Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, Spider-Man, then like another Call of Duty, then something else. Like,
of course, not including Minecraft and Tetris.
Not including Minecraft. Like those are not leaving at all. Yeah. Maybe like I'll give it another 20 years, because I feel like Spider-Man now will be Tetris 40 years from now.
Okay.
But that's just my grave guess. But the first game touched all those things about the relationship with Peter Parker and his friends, Mary Jane, his relationship with Miles, his relationship with Aunt May, his relationship with Dr. Otto Octavius, Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, and all these characters you would love to see in a Spider-Man franchise.
No.
What are you doing?
I can play Tetris. And then yeah, it goes like up of octave there, but yeah, that's like the whole loop is.
We just had a brief. I had no idea. I wish I could. You guys, he ran under the boom mic, went to grab a guitar and started playing it, and I just looked around like, "What are you gonna leave me to do this by myself? Like, what is happening right now?" That was really fun. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Can we play together?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Future videos of us playing together.
Yeah, if you bring your Yukin after this, I'll play you Zelda songs.
LaCroixboi and Spoke to the Plug.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, little collab.
Little collab.
Yeah.
Big collab.
Yeah. Ooh.
Her EP coming out this summer. You guys look out for that.
Yeah, as soon as I figure out how to use this thing that we're recording on.
Look for us on. We might not even be recording right now. I hope you guys are hearing all this.
I see the sound waves though, so it should work.
That's just those are just Rorschachs. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, whoa. But no, and so that's kind of what the first game touched on, is just Peter Parker's relationships with people around him, him dealing with loss, grief, just the struggles that come with being a Spider-Man, and the theme is very light. Obviously, it's a Spider-Man game. He's very witty, very funny. The interactions between characters are very good.
It's cute.
But there are some real dark undertones to it. You know, I mean, I wish they had stuck to that more. You know, not maybe to where it's a rated M game, but I would do like some dark undertones and these characters that are also just so lovable and try to be so upbeat all the time.
How much money would you pay for a rated M Spider-Man?
I would pay for the deluxe edition.
Like $80-$90?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm paying $100 for a wrestling game.
What's that game?
WWE 2K23.
Why are you paying $100 for it?
Because I love wrestling games, and
what do you get?
I get to play the game 3 days early.
Okay. I
get Bad Bunny as a digital deluxe, as a pre-order bonus,
That's pretty cool.
playable.
That's pretty cool.
I get multiple versions of wrestlers from like over the years. So like I get like their current versions and their old versions. I get like an accelerator pack, which means like I unlock everything from the get-go. I get like a My Rise starter pack, which is like I get like a bunch of attribute points to level up my character the moment I get the game. So I'm able to just from the get-go. It's like it's not like beat it then enjoy it. It's like right off the bat, and that's kind of how I've been doing it the last 3 years.
Is this the same game that you like whenever I call you and you're like, I'm playing a wrestling game? Is this like the next?
This is the next edition. Much like the basketball games, this is like
a yearly.
Is
the 2K.
Yeah. FIFA. But the only difference is wrestling games are actually fun.
That's a twist.
Bro, I mean, like, and this isn't a wrestling video, but I mean, they are.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you join me in that conversation too, because I will be playing 2K23 on this channel.
Okay.
But back to Spider-Man.
Okay. Kind of wrestling.
Kind of wrestling.
Yeah.
There was a Wrestle Spider at one point. He wrestled Macho Man, didn't he?
He wrestled someone.
He wrestled a lot. He has like a wrestling outfit in the game.
Yeah.
Spuggy, if you hear this part, add that there's like in the game, there's a wrestling outfit of Spider-Man, which you may not do that because you're lazy, but try to at least.
The night Uncle Ben died
he started wrestling. That's how he coped with Uncle Ben's death. He just started whipping people to the ground and pinning them. It was crazy. How does he do that? But no, so Spider-Man 2 is coming out later this year.
Okay.
They haven't released a date yet, but we do have a teaser that confirms Kraven the Hunter and Venom.
Dang, that'll be good B-roll footage here.
Two classic. What?
That'll be good footage here.
It'd be good. It would.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter and Venom. And those are just the two that are confirmed.
Okay.
You know, and we've only seen them team up in like a teaser. I know this is a trick that devs use all the time when it comes to trailers. I don't know if this means that we're going to be able to take control of both Miles and Peter. I don't know if this means that there are going to be certain points in the story where we bounce between them.
Yeah.
Or some people were saying it might even be co-op, which I think is the least likely to happen.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if it happened.
I think it's most likely that they either have like segmented arcs, or it's one of those things where you can like switch characters midway, like in a fighting game, or like you can, or their costumes or something like that. Those are the options.
Those would be cool.
Sense. But I really just hope that they don't just make them story games.
I really hope. Just make a story.
Just make them story games. Like, give me my own Miles story. I'm just saying.
I mean, like, now that these two are together and practically equals in when it comes to Spider-Manning,
sure.
I'm excited to see what their dynamic is going to be like now. Mm-hmm. Because in the first game, Miles got bit, and he wasn't too sure. And then by the end of that game, like the after credit scene, you see him properly teaching him how to, where they begin training. And so Peter's more like this teacher figure, and then in Miles Morales, he's more like a mentor figure. Like he's letting him come on with him to stakes and crime fighting and doing all this other stuff, like kind of tailing him and learning from it. And then he left him in that game, so Miles was all alone to do it for himself. And then like I just love how the moment Peter leaves, like everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Everything goes to shit,
That's
bro.
just how it happens.
I mean, it kind of had to happen because now that made him. I'm excited to see how that molded him for this game and what they're gonna do with that. Yeah. It's like, man, I've already been through this, man. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to go, man.
There is inevitably like a scene where like Peter like jumps a little bit too fast to try and help, assuming that Miles is ready, and then Miles is already there, or Miles is like, 1 second, like it's okay, just sit here make sure the hostages are okay, like these types.
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh no, Miles, and it's like, yeah, he had it all along.
You can pretty much like set your clock to that scene happening.
they kind of teased it from the trailers that that not only were they fighting separately and handling their own, but they were fighting together. Okay. Which I'm really interested to see how that's going to look like. I can't wait for a real trailer to come out that shows that gameplay. I'm not sure if this is going to be like a legit. It's going to be like a Sonic thing where like Tails is just always with you, helping you out, mimicking your every move. Or it's like, I don't know how they would do that, but it was very interesting the way they chose to show it. I don't know what it's going to be like.
Now, okay, wait. Think your conversation when you brought up the co-op thing, where you were like, people are really hoping that it's gonna be co-op. I actually could see a world where like every mission or the majority of missions are like 2-person missions that you can either play with somebody next to you, split screen, which is most likely not going to happen anymore because for some reason devs just feel like that's a hard task. I don't understand. Or 2, it could be something where you always have like a NPC or an AI, Peter or Miles, with you, and then you could have like online co-op for like a matchmaking thing for each level, and then you like have a teammate with you who is the other Spider-Man. That would be pretty sick. Like imagine you at home and me on my PC, and we're both controlling one Peter or one Spider-Man, and we're doing the mission together, like Hitman style, like taking out each enemy.
That's one thing I thought about.
That'd be sick.
That would be very sick. I don't know how that would work. No, I am by no means a game dev.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work though.
Yeah.
You know, but it'd be cool if they got it to work, and like how they, you know, how it would kind of be like, oh, these missions are available by yourself,
yeah,
or with someone, and if they can kind of make it in a way where it's both,
yeah,
I'm here for it. And the fact that it's only going to be on the PS5 means that this game is graphically going to look phenomenal.
Yeah.
Step
above, yeah.
It's going to play smooth. I'm excited to see what they're going to do mechanically, because you already said that the game is smooth. Mm-hmm. We've had our nitpicks about the web swinging and the overall traversal, mm-hmm. and a little with combat, the kind of nitpicks that we had about it, and how we can be more streamlined to be less just, oh, hold this button to do that. And I know it's possible, because how can a PS2 version of that same mechanic be compared to a PC version of it and still kind of only slightly do it better?
Yeah.
So, which isn't like a big complaint. It doesn't take you away from the game itself, because the game is great. It's amazing, but
and web swinging has never been better.
It has never been better.
I'm not gonna say another Spider-Man game has done this better, but I am gonna say that other games have done this better. That
fluid motion is
a crime.
It is a crime. We were talking about this, and I told you about Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
And how INSOMNIAC and all that, the fluid motion of that game, and how everything felt, like I said, so fluid and so smooth. And so when they found out they were working on a Spider-Man game, it's like, oh, they know what they're doing. They know how to do this stuff. And they kind of sacrificed the quality of it over the actual, for lack of a better term, accessibility of it. Yeah. Thank you.
I would say that they dumbed it down is the easiest way to say it. I mean, again, at any point you have between 3 and 4 options for a thing to do to get you in a direction. And whenever you think about it omnidirectionally, like 8 different directions that are like programmed into most like joysticks, that's a lot of things that you can do. But it's about trusting the audience. And for me, I understand that the things that I want would probably only be able to be sold to me in like the expert mode, but I think that should be there. Give me an excuse to play the game again instead of just playing through it one time really well, you know?
Oh yeah, it shouldn't be particularly difficult to do. I mean, like I said, with the priority of quality. I mean, I'm excited to see, and especially since Spider-Man 2 is presumably, we're going to play with both of them, obviously.
Yeah. How
are they really going to differentiate the two playstyles, besides just what we've seen from their separate games, that they're in the same game fighting together as equals? I'm excited to see the villains, besides Kraven and Venom. Mm-hmm. By the way, we just heard Kraven's voice.
Did we?
We just heard Kraven's voice. Because Venom was the big thing about it, but there's like this weird Slavic kind of accent, and you're like, why does Venom sound like that? Yeah, and then you realize that, oh, that's not Venom. That's I actually had to read an article that said like, yo, it's Kraven, and I was like, oh, of course it's Kraven. I'm just an idiot because I don't know characters, but yeah, I'm excited to see more than just those two. I know, and what gets me excited is that in the original Spider-Man trailer, they actually revealed all the Sinister Six, like all the villains that were going to be present in the story.
Okay.
I think except for Doc Ock, because he was supposed to be like, even though anyone who knows Spider-Man knows that Otto will be Doc Ock.
Right.
But they actually showed all the Sinister Six, but those weren't the only villains present in the game. You know, not to mention the DLC that we're inevitably going to have because of this game.
Right.
So with Venom and Kraven being these two games like heavy hitter, like the villains, I wonder who else is going to be in here. You know, are we going to have, is Rhino going to break free again and run havoc, and we have to ride him like a fucking horse through buildings and have to get babies out of the way because he's running rampant through a mall?
Yeah.
Or is Electro going to get set free again? Do we have to deal with Kingpin? Kingpin was very minimal in Miles Morales, but he was a huge part of the first game.
I actually have not interacted with Kingpin yet. I've only interacted with people mentioning him. So maybe that's part of like the last mission that I haven't done, or like the post main story mission or something for me.
You'll see, like, there's like because this isn't his, you'll see him a bit the further you go. But in the first game, he's the first mission. Okay. The first chapter of the game is like, oh, there's trouble at Kingpin's castle, tower, castle. There's trouble. There's trouble at Kingpin's tower, and so when you go over there, he's in there, and he's kind of like already setting. Kingpin is such a cool character, and they just introduced him into the MCU too. It's so cool. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah. But you take him down in that first chapter, and he's always this looming threat for the rest of the game. Okay. And you're like, and he has his men doing his work for him. And he's operating things from prison, which is insane. Yeah. And he made a couple appearances in the DLC as well. And then the weird thing is he kind of starts working together with Spider-Man a little bit because they both have similar interests. Yeah. Very Kingpin, yeah. And so like I'm excited because they and we had like Hammerhead, we had Black Cat, which we talked about, we had a Screwball, who was a very lesser known Spider-Man. Screwball. Yeah.
And that's kind of rare for me.
I pride myself on it too. Like, who the hell is this? Yeah, that's a weird. She wasn't very threatening. She got people to do stuff for her, but. Definitely look into that after this. Yeah. But the first game had it had mostly highs. The highs definitely outweighed the lows. But going into this with Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales under our belts, I want this next game to be that 10 times. You have the PS5. You do. You have the PC.
You already have the world.
You already have the world.
Remake New York. It's been made in the last 2 years, and it looks too good. Like, there's nothing graphically that needs to be done here. And
that's another thing too. Is that what are you going to do? Right. As far as this setting, we've been to New York twice already now.
Okay, true. We could go somewhere else.
We could go somewhere. I mean, the main thing could be New York. You already have this. I'm pretty sure you just copied and pasted it from the first game and added snow. But and I'm not saying that the work that went into the map isn't great by all these devs, because it still looks great. I'm glad it has that Christmas vibe, that Christmas setting. But also, it's it is true. I mean, we've been to New York.
It's true.
Where else are we going to go? Are we going to go? I mean, in the first game, they tease kind of Sokovia, which is where Sable's from. Sable was a villain in the first game, where Silver Sable, yeah, and she had her men come to kind of be damage control, and then her men went rogue, and then so the crimes that pop up on the streets, they're one of them in the first game. So you have to clear them out, and Sable even confesses to Peter. She's like, I don't know what to do. They're not listening to me anymore. They set up camps around New York. They turning into some kind of totalitarianism BS. I don't know what to do. She's like, I'm gonna go back to Sokovia, and I'm like, do we get to go see Sokovia? And it's no, we're just gonna tease it a bit. So that would be cool. Even if it's just some games do that. Even if it's just for a chapter, just Peter, they get stowed away to a different place, and they have to come back and. Yeah. I mean, hell, Peter left with MJ in this game.
It's just kind of hard to. I think that we'll probably stick to New York.
Of course, for most 90% of it.
Yeah, I think that that's a fair request at this point. I think that up until now, it's well, they kind of have to remake New York, or they kind of have to build this new story around a new character that they're putting in, and make sure that he's really got to look good, because he's about to get a movie at this time. This movie or this is coming out, or in its press junket stage is actively whenever the last movie was coming out, right? The animated movie was coming out,
and they love to do that. Kind of go hand in hand with the other mediums.
Yeah, just so that it's when you don't have to pay as much for advertisement when you're advertising for things that are all the same IP. Right, so it's not an advertisement budget for 4 different things now. It's kind of an advertisement budget for one thing, and it's just segmented under game time, movie time, whatever soundtrack time because the last one.
And the Spider-Verse movie is coming out later this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
The same time as Spider-Man 2.
June. Yeah, June. Yeah.
They said later.
Yeah.
This, like, around June time, yeah. So they know what they're doing. The game's probably, if it's coming out this year, the game's kind of done.
So really, then, it's most likely that we would find if that was really, because I actually don't know. Do we have any other? Yeah, he just got bodied. Don't do that to me. He just watched my. I'm putting up my my play because I'm like editing stuff while we're doing this, and he's like watching me die in my playthrough of Miles Morales, and he's trying.
Scrub.
He's giving me crap right now. I can just see it on his face.
That's hilarious.
But
a mouse and keyboard.
The most likely thing is that they just do like a multiverse thing, right? If we're going across the multiverse in the movie, I don't know of another live action movie that's been like announced. I don't know when the next Spider-Man live action.
Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah, that's something that I would get on my phone and stuff.
It's something coming, but we don't know when. It's definitely coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to do it. I mean, like I said, I don't know seasons. We've established this, but I do know around June, July time is when the game will come out. That's kind of what they've alluded to over the course, like the interviews and the dev talks that I've heard and seen. And so, like, for them to go hand in hand with that, it has to be, if they do touch on multiversal stuff, and there's so many Spider-Man, and like, I don't even know if, because we already talked about how Venom is from, like, they were building him up from the first game. Harry Osborn has him in this kind of chamber, and he has a symbiote. And so I know he won't be coming from anywhere. I don't know where Craven might be coming from. Like I said, wherever he's coming from, maybe we go there and we culture with that. But like again, that's where you're saying is like Spider-Man kind of has to stay in New York.
Yeah.
Like the only reason Peter felt comfortable leaving is because Miles was there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so. I mean, now that there's two of them, I'm really interested to see, as far as the story goes, what they're gonna do with that. Because Aunt May's story is done. Miles' story is, well, you can keep going with it, but we pretty much, he lost his best friend. Well, not his best friend, Genki, but like Finn, his once best friend.
Right.
And the threat that they had faced is done. The threats that Peter seemingly had faced in their first game, even with all the DLC, are done.
Right.
So where's there to go from there? I mean, we obviously had the threat of Venom, but like, what else? The game isn't. I know the game is going to be 20 hours of just us chasing Venom. Not that he'd run from us, but I'm really excited. I didn't even have like predictions because there was no real set off other than Venom.
Right.
Like, what is it gonna be?
We know we're doing something with Osborn.
We know we're doing something with Osborn with us alive. Otto's still alive. I don't know if he's gonna come into play.
Okay.
Because he wasn't like he was thrown into prison, but he had like that neurological thing that breaks him down and that disease he has. And
so hey man, you do Superior Spider-Man, and you have Otto Octavius take over Peter's brain, and then you have Otto like working with Miles, and Miles not knowing that he's Otto, but like knowing that something's up. Like that would be that'll be the sort of dark undertone that I want. That would be like the best. I think that would be like the best version of this that I could imagine, which then would be easy to tie into Spider-Verse, because in Superior Spider-Man, Otto does start Spider-Verse. Like all of what happens in Spider-Verse is happening between two panels in one Otto Octavius story. There's like an explosion or something. Yeah.
If that does happen, I always think, because in games like these, they always like to pit you against one another.
Yeah.
I wonder at some point if it's you're gonna be playing as Miles and Peter gets corrupted with something, or you're gonna be playing as Peter and you got to fight Miles, and there's like this conflict because you don't want to do it. It's not your kind of thing. I don't know. I don't even know how that would happen. Would it be the symbiote's fault? Would it be Craven's fault? Would it be Otto's fault? Would it be Oscorp's fault?
If it's the symbiote, like if the symbiote's what's forcing it, then honestly it would let you play both, because then it could take over each character individually, and like Miles would inherently have like a pretty easy solution for it because his electricity like freaks out Venom. So then,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so that would be like probably who you'd fight. You'd fight Venom as Miles first because it would be easier.
And then you'd weaken him.
And then, well, like you're fighting Peter, right? And Peter has Venom, so then that lets you like actually have a reason to fight them without them just going evil, right? And then once Venom realizes that you have electricity powers, then Venom would like find a way to get to you, and then it'd be like, well, now this is a better host body than Peter because I don't have the electricity weakness here. And yeah,
I think I lied.
Yeah.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
For the end.
Ooh.
Harry Osborn
Man.
Harry Osborn will die.
Bro.
He will die. I'm not a dev or anything. I don't know what this is going to happen, but I'm going to look back at this video.
So not his father.
Not his father.
You think that Harry...
Norman has to be alive because Harry's death will hit harder than Norman. Norman was so unbelievably unlikable in the first game. In a sense that was what his character was made to do. Not that he was poorly written or anything like that, but like he was literally like he was the guy that showed up at Otto's office and was like, "All right, Otto, pack all your things up. You're no longer doing all this and stuff." And that's where Peter's technical job was.
Yeah.
And so now he was out of a job, and Osborn's like, "Well, come work for me, Peter." And he's like, "No, like this is my friend. This is one of the greatest minds ever." And it's like, like these guys used to be friends, and he comes off as very douchey and very arrogant, and it's not at all like the Osborn that like Willem Dafoe played, where it's like he just slowly loses his mind, kind of like he's already off rip, kind of a douche, and like Oscorp itself is very corrupted and stuff like that. Not that he's like inherently like evil, but like he's definitely not a good person. And so if his only concern is like getting his son back, and he's went as far as to trap his son in an incubator with the symbiote and all that, and Venom is present and Harry is the host body, they're going to find a way to remove that symbiote from him, and he's going to die. We've seen it in the Venom movies.
Right.
Anyone who's had Venom inside them, and they die.
That's not a bad point.
And Harry's gonna be like, that was keeping me alive, and I was out, and he's gonna be like, Dad, you gotta let go, and now Norman's gonna be upset, and now we get Goblin.
This is an interesting...
We're going to get Goblin, too.
This is an interesting spin, because in all of the renditions of Spider-Man, Norman is the worst dad. Like, always.
This is only hammered down in the game.
Always. He's the worst dad. But you bring up a good point in that I don't remember a time when I could have imagined seeing the scene that I saw at the end of Miles, where we see Osborn or Norman walking up to the glass and everything. I've never seen an instance where Norman has actually been like, it still is like very like clearly like a weird like tone, like an evil tone or whatever, but it is one where Norman looks like he actually cares, which is not normal. Normally Harry's biggest problem is that his dad doesn't care about him. It's like his only actual...
And that might be, in at least in this game's story, in this game's continuity, his only redeeming trait.
Yeah. It's
his love for his son. I can akin it to like Game of Thrones.
Right.
Where, I'm not sure if you've ever seen Game of Thrones. But the character of Cersei is a terrible woman.
Yeah.
She's absolutely, like, literal, if evil, the walking embodiment of evil.
Yeah.
She's terrible. And her only redeeming quality is the love she has for her children.
Yeah.
She has murdered people for her kids. Okay. Whatever. Like, that's her. And so I think with Norman is like he has this company, and he has these people who are his enemies and people who he thinks are his enemies, so it leaves him a bit of paranoid, almost like that Goblin paranoia, which I'm leaving to that Goblin angle again, because we're not getting Goblin in this game. We're definitely getting him in the third game, which will set up this game's trilogy, like the movies and stuff, which I'm just spitballing here, but that would be really cool. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. But in this game, again, like you said, I've seen it, and Norman is a terrible father, and, it's one of the few things about him where it's like you really try to get him to dislike you, but I think... or they really try to get you to dislike him, but in this game I think it's the opposite, where it's like he's more of this like this corporate businessman who's terrible and like does all these terrible things to his friends, and he backstabs people, and he works with corrupted companies, and he's only in it for his best interest. But but on the flip side of that, his only redeeming quality is that he loves his son. Yeah. And he's willing to do this terrible thing that he may not know is terrible, because at the time you just hope it works.
But we'll get behind that.
He just, and like I told you, that scene where the symbiote just kind of sticks out and touches his hand is like, that just only reaffirms his being of like, I just really want my son. I don't care what it takes. I'm willing to spend billions of dollars on whatever the hell this alien technology is or whatever. Who needs to come in here and experiment to get him to live, because this sickness is not going to take him. It's not going to happen. Instead of just letting go and dealing with it, and then in the second game it's going to double down on that, and he's going to die. Yeah. And it's going to change Osborn. One thing I want to touch on with that, what I think really hammers down this point, is that in the first game Aunt May dies. Look at me. Look at me. Sorry. In the first game Aunt May dies.
That's fair though. I mean, she also died in the movies.
Yeah. Ben is already dead.
Okay.
But in the first game, Aunt May dies. Spoiler alert, sorry. I told you guys in the beginning. In the second game, someone close to Miles dies, Finn. And also, in the first game, his dad dies. You know? And so in this game, is like, who is up for the surface to lose? Miles' mom? MJ? Uncle Aaron, if he even makes an appearance in this game? You know? Which I think he's in prison after the events of this first game, if I remember.
He did. There was a call where he mentioned that he gave up the dude that you were fighting, the bad guy, the corporate guy. He said that he like gave information on him, which like reduced his sentence, I think, or something.
Yeah, I do remember that he gave information.
Yeah.
About.
He was a narc.
He would like, but don't leave my nephew out of this. You know what I mean? And so I do remember that now. And so it's like in this game, who's left is they're going to be, because they're going to have to kill somebody again.
Yeah. And
that death isn't going to. Like, if it's MJ, then, like, they're going to have to make it really impactful, because at this point, I don't care if MJ dies.
Yeah.
Her motives in the first game were very wonky, and I don't get girlfriends at all. Okay. Like, she was like, oh, my problem with our relationship is that you kept saving me, even though I got myself in these dumbass situations where I would need you to come save me. And it's like, okay, dude, you know, you want to be independent, go ahead, but I'm not going to let you die, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know, it's whatever. And so, god damn, that's cool. we're watching the ending while we're recording this, and I just see Miles smash Finn through some glass. I'm like, God, I gotta replay this when I get home. But literally, but no. And so in the third game, you have to wonder like what they have to do it. And I think that's going to set up Goblin for the trilogy, because we haven't seen Goblin yet. We know Osborn's Goblin. He has the technology. He's going to have the motive. You know, and with the symbiote, and that's one thing I want to touch on too. I'm really excited what they're going to do with the symbiote. Yeah. In the old Spider-Man games, we got to play as Venom.
Yeah.
We got to play as Peter with the symbiote.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to, like, if they dispose of it, or is Peter going to, like, kind of, this can be used to my advantage or something like that. I don't know if it really sticks with the core theme of the game. I don't know if they'll do it. I really hope they find a way to, because that'll be really fun. It reminds me of the old games that I played on the PS3. Mm-hmm. But I don't, like, but that's my prediction, man. I think it's going to be very sad. It's going to be a lot darker than Spider-Man and Miles Morales. I just think so.
I think you just give us maybe one fight where you play with Venom. I think just one.
Just one, probably at the end.
And then I think that then after that, I like even if they do like the New Game Plus option, then like Peter does the thing. So when Peter first got Venom, it was in Secret Wars. In Secret Wars, Venom was originally made. It wasn't originally made by Null. It wasn't a symbiote at all. This is like an alternate Earth story, and there's like a room where it makes anything appear as the heroes. It's like got all the Avengers and Spider-Man there, and the Fantastic Four and some X-Men characters. But all those good guys, like the place that they have, will just make whatever they want. So if they like verbally just they just mention that they're hungry, then like the next room they walk through is like got a full feast there ready for them. So in that world, Spider-Man was like looking through and like investigating the space, and he was like wondering why that seems to be the case. Like the rest of the group wasn't really seeming to notice that was happening. And then he like goes into the science room or whatever, and his suit's like messed up from traveling there or whatever, or from the first fight or something. So he has the science room make him a new suit, and the new suit is Venom. So that was the first time we got Venom. And then after that event happened, the dude from Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, like analyzes it for him. He takes a piece to him, and Mr. Fantastic says specifically like, you shouldn't wear this anymore, in the same way that we saw it in Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi.
3.
Yeah, he like takes it to some doctor, and the doctor's like,
you shouldn't put this on your body.
Right. So that's like a continuous thing that keeps happening. So I would say that now you probably like give it to Miles in like the one fight or something, and you actually let him use it. And then after that, Peter does the analysis. Peter's the science guy here anyways, so have him do that, and then say like, yo, you really shouldn't use this in the future or something like that. Yeah, I think that would make a lot of
I'm trying to figure out who would he go to.
Yeah, 1 second. Yes. No, I'm about to leave. We don't start till 7:30. So
I'll just cut all this out.
yes, my bad.
In the sweet, sweet I just like that. Just the black lines. But yeah, I mean, that's what I expect. I mean, I really hope. God, I think I fucked it up.
You're good, dude. One second, I got you.
And I'll just cut all this out.
Yeah.
Cut all this out.
To me. He said to you.
To me. Tremaine, cut all this out.
Future me. There you go.
And start now.
Okay, I don't remember what you're
Okay. Yeah, me neither. What just happened? But no, I'm really excited for it. Hopefully you are too. I really hope this game does something to make you want to get it. And even, just for, I know I would do this just to go back and play the first game. If that's something that the second game was like, this second game was so good, I want to see it for myself. Because even though I can say things like Aunt May passed away.
Yeah.
Or like, in the first game, Miles' dad dies. But also, that's a 15-hour game, Yeah. There's so many cool things that happen that the fact that a second game is coming out means they're going to do that and better. Yeah. I mean, there's something they did in Miles Morales that they did better in this game. And this game is, I want to say, barely half the length of that game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Very short.
It's very short.
Yeah.
You can beat it in 2 sittings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for this next AAA, the sequel, and I know game devs especially feel this way. Mm-hmm. They don't want to have that sequel curse. Yeah. You know what I mean? They want people to say that the second game outdoes the first one tenfold. Mm-hmm. And not just be like, oh, here's the second game in the Spider-Man franchise, and we're just gonna kind of do the same thing. Oh, let me just put Venom in there; it'll be cool. Yeah, just Venom. They're not gonna stop at Venom. Okay. They're not. Even if they have to do it with some DLC. And speaking of DLC, I forgot about that. So for DLCs, for the first one we had Black Cat, and the second one we had Hammerhead, and the third one, well, it was still Hammerhead, but it was like finishing his story. And there was a character named Yuri in the first game who was like the detective partner to Spider-Man, who got kicked off the force for
rebel hands, huh?
Yeah, for like, she got too carried away. I think she killed someone. It'll come to me the moment we stop this video. But she gets in some kind of trouble with her own job, and they kick her off the force. And now she's acting as a vigilante, like she's taking things in her own hands, which is one of the coolest things from the first game. Is like you can see her like leave bodies or like around. You can see her leave bodies around the map, and just be like, and Peter just be like, oh God, Yuri, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's like they really are setting her up. Yeah. And that's as far as they go for the DLC. So I know she has to show up in the second game and pay that off. And then they're gonna fight. And Peter, Peter's very witty and he's very cringy, and he'll talk to her because he's like her inside. She's like to Spider-Man what James Gordon is to Batman. Okay. Like she's like, oh, like Peter, like we're gonna meet up at the museum, and I think someone's here, and he's like Spider Cop is on the way, and she's like, oh no, not this again. And it's like that really cool relationship, and they really grow onto each other. But then she gets kicked off the force, and then like she goes rogue. That's the exact. She goes rogue. So I know they're gonna pay that off in the second game. So we're gonna have Yuri, Venom, Kraven, maybe a hint of Goblin. I don't know if Otto's going to get back into it. I do think they're going to leave most of the Sinister Six alone. I do think they're going to try to differentiate this as much as they possibly can. Like I think most of they did with even Miles Morales was just having you fight Rhino from the Sinister Six, and that's like as far as they went. Everyone else was completely new.
I have to say, I really did enjoy that. Like I am really. It's cool when they do it right, but I have fought Electro so many times. Like, I have fought Electro probably 7 or 8 times.
Yeah. You fought him 3 times in the first game.
And I didn't play that game. So exactly. Like as soon as I got into the Rhino fight, I was like, okay, this is cool. It's teaching me the punch thing. Great. And then after that, I was like, this is so refreshing.
So I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited. I really hope it's hype enough for you to want to pick up both games and play them in succession, because I know I am. Yeah. And they're going to be here on the channel, because by that time it comes out, I will have a PlayStation 5. Oh. And hopefully a PC around the same time. Who knows? If things work out. I told you about that. Yeah. But this isn't like the video we did, which was an hour long. I'm thinking I'm going to end it right here.
Okay.
We got some good stuff out of it.
Yes.
I'm
excited.
I was actually concerned about how different the conversation would be from the one we had, but it was very different. Yeah. Very good, very enlightening. Yeah. I like it. We should do more like this.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, LaCroixboi here,
goodbye.
My editor,
yes.
who helped me out with the God of War video. Again, go check that out, link in the description. Go check his video out, link should be in the description.
It'll be there, yes.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
It'll be there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let us know if you're excited about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Come and let us know what you think. Let us know your predictions down in the comments below.
Hit him up on Twitter.
Hit me up on Twitter at IamSpuggy. Go follow my Twitch at Gamer Jr.
That's true.
And the Reddit.
That's true. Yes, the Reddit too.
r/Spug to the plug.
That's right. All of the above.
And subscribe to me here.
Okay.
And until my next video, I will talk to you guys very soon.